I'm glad you're here. It's Monday, and it's not just an ordinary Monday.
No,
it's Blue Monday.
It is Blue Monday, and you know what? We're going to battle it out today. Yeah. We're going to say, no, this is Green Monday. Yeah. Give it the green light. Yeah. Make it, a great day.
I'm feeling happy today. I have to say, get outside, enjoy the winter weather, because that's one way you can battle the blues. The most depressing day of the year. That's what they say. But let's jump into our weather story now. Meteorologist Jaclyn Whittal joins us. And Jaclyn, I was reading a tweet. Edmonton, someone tweeted that their backyard was just a sheet of ice, and these freezing rain warnings, they will continue.
Yeah, that's right. We've been talking about that push of milder air, over the colder surface. As long as you have that cold air trapped, you get freezing rain. Could see that with both of these boundaries. We have this cold front. So yeah, the freezing rain potential still in through Saskatchewan, and then a cold front that'll bring a little bit of flurries, it looks like, overnight. But it's pretty dry overall the prairies. 2 to 5 centimeters, 5 to 10 up toward the north.
Yeah, so overall active, but not as active as out here. Atlantic Canada, this is where our eyes are peeled on you. And look at this, and you are the target for possibly 40 to 50 centimeters of snow.
Talk about a Blue Monday.
I know.
This is it, right? They say it's the doldrums of winter. It's kind of maybe that halfway point. I'm thinking February. I'm thinking March already.
And also, this is the time when all the credit card bills from Christmas come in, too.
Yeah,
so that's just another one. Yeah, no.
So not just blue on our map, but white. And that indicates the heaviest snow, as you had mentioned, maybe 50 plus for some areas, Sept-Îles, Saguenay.
And you can see where that warm front is, because anything south of that, that's going to be falling as rain. So rainfall warnings are in place. We have the lake sweat, the wreck house wind warnings as well, and winter storm. There is really a lot of ingredients in with this system.
That's right. So you've got with the winter storm warning, the wind, the snow, instead of just say the snowfall warning.
Yes.
So you've got both elements, Labrador City, Churchill Falls, all under that winter storm warning. So it's active.
And also extreme cold.
Yes.
Now let's focus in a little more on the rain. So this is where we could see 30 millimeters of rain, and in the winter time, that puts you right into the rainfall category.
Absolutely. Okay, so we have lots coming up here. Detroit River always having these big freighters going through and breaking up the ice. So something we didn't see down in Windsor, 50 centimeters of snow. We'll tell you who's going to get that. An update on the freezing rain, that's coming up on my show. And Blue Monday, we'll talk more about that.
Have a great day.
We will continue to talk about the weather and how that can affect your drive in this morning. It's Blue Monday. It's not just any Monday morning if you're making your way back to work. It's Blue Monday, and we've got all kinds of blue on our map. So what is Blue Monday? Well, apparently it's like, the doldrums of winter. You're right buried in snow or the cold, and you're looking for that relief of spring, and it's still a way to come. But you know what? If I think Blue Monday is all state of mind. It's just a regular old Monday. Make it a great day. Get out there, do some exercise, enjoy it. Maybe do some skiing. We'll have an update on some of the ski resorts that you can check out. Gusty conditions on the East Coast today. That's what our weather highlight story tells us, and we'll talk about why coming up. The interesting part about this storm is that everybody from Nova Scotia and most of New Brunswick was in the rain this time. So the warm sector, the warmest part of the storm, where we see winds out of the south, brought in rain. And we have rainfall warnings in the green still in place, wind warning up through parts of the Gaspé region, and then Saguenay, we have winter storm warnings still in place. So wind, snow, potential freezing rain, ice pellets, goose-based snowfall warning, and then up through the extreme north, we have extreme cold warnings, which means minus 45, I believe the criteria is up there. Very chilly temperatures. Not everybody is going to get into the cold. And what I mean by that is by tomorrow morning, Montreal, Quebec City, a lot of you will be feeling close to what you see Val-d'Or getting into this evening, minus 22s, minus 28s, minus 30s. But Ontario will sneak on through without the cold. I'll show you what I mean in just a few minutes here. 10 to 20 millimeters of rain still on tap for Halifax. Yarmouth at 20 to 30. There's the snow. You can see why those winter storm warnings are in place. Here's this evening's temperatures for the north. Minus 18s for Elliott Lake, minus 11 for Thunder Bay, minus 7 for Fort Frances. Not too bad. Hamilton, you would tell us that, I'm sure. But the temperatures, minus 20s, minus 15s up to the extreme north, minus 7 for London, minus 6 for Hamilton. And that's about as cold as you'll get for most of the week. So as the temperatures cool behind the system in the east, it's not going to flood into the rest of Ontario. It's going to actually stay fairly warm. Same for you in the prairies. Happy Monday to you. Maybe not a happy Monday for many. We call this Blue Monday, where we're in the middle of winter. Everybody's done with the cold. You're buried in snow, depending on where you're at. And you're looking forward to spring. Or it's just a regular old Monday, and you can make the best of it, right? And maybe go for a nice ski outside, or maybe a nice walk or a run. So make the best of it. Have a good Monday. Have a cheery green Monday, I'm calling it. Give it the green light. All right, let's take you here to Langley, BC, where it was raining, and lots of temperatures are very moderate, and your climate is much more tolerable than the rest of the country. All right, let's take a look at our current systems. We have a couple boundaries, so a cold front and a warm front here moving through Alberta. This has a potential for some freezing rain along that boundary still. We saw it yesterday. We also saw freezing rain with this system. Quebec City saw 5 hours of freezing rain. In this part of the storm, it's all very mild. It's what we call the warm sector. We'll talk about the East Coast in just a second, but let's talk about the mild temperatures and the rainfall from Saturday through to Monday. This is how much you picked up. West Van, 29 millimeters. Victoria at 36. Squamish, though, 67. And Hope at 76 millimeters of rain. So it was a wet one. As we get into this morning, we'll start to see this break up. This system can pretty well push off to the north, and a lot of the energy is now pushed over the Rocky Mountains. We have some lingering snow flurries by Tuesday morning. You just saw with that cold front, and then another system moves through mostly the central and north coast. We'll see it this time, and a pretty significant push of mild air. But now we'll see snow replace that mild air through the prairies. We did have some downsloping winds again. Love when that happens. Red Deer, Edmonton, you saw some freezing rain over the last 24 hours. 2 to 5 centimeters is in the forecast now from Slave Lake all the way down to the southeast. Here's a look ahead for you, Winnipeg. You'll have a pretty mild, trend today and tomorrow. -4 with clouds tomorrow. Wednesday, back into a cold shot of air, but it won't be too long-lived, about -3 again. So it was snowing and blowing and drifting snow with the East Coast storm. 0 this afternoon for Quebec City. Good morning to you in Montreal. You'll top out at 1 with some snow flurries. Val-d'Or, -17, partly cloudy. All of that cold air is basically the flow around that area of low pressure. And it'll do something like this, come in from the northwest. But southern Ontario, you'll be spared. Your long range looks a lot more mild. 30 to 50 centimeters for Sept-Îles, for Labrador City. And then the rainfall down in that warm sector where I was showing you, still lots on the way. Good morning to you. It is a blue Monday, and it's all about what you want to make it, right? If you want to kind of keep locked in the house and buried in snow and not go out and enjoy your day, then you're going to feel kind of blue. But if it's just like any other day and you get out and enjoy it, then it can be a great Monday. All right, I'm Jaclyn Whittal. Let's talk to you, Fredericton, because I find this fascinating. We talk a lot about warm air advection. All that means is one warmer air mass moving over a colder surface, say. Fredericton, you started the Sunday morning period off at about -18, and then by the afternoon, you're up at +4. That's a big difference in a day. Coast. All right, so let's take a look at your evening temperatures. -6 for you in Quebec. We're looking at some snow flurries. Sept-Îles about 0, 2 for Moncton with the showers, and Sherbrooke -5. But the coldest area you can see is locked up through Val-d'Or, and that's going to be where it's going to stay in much of Quebec, northern Ontario, and then northern parts of the East Coast is going to see a lot of the cold air. But with the jet stream, we're going to see southern Ontario back toward the west and the prairies really hang on to some milder conditions, at least for the next week. How long will it last? A different story. Okay, 10 to 20 millimeters for Halifax, 20 to 30 millimeters of rain for you in Yarmouth. Here's the snowfall. You ready for it? 30 to 50 centimeters for Saguenay, and then Sept-Îles, 30 to 50 plus for you. Plus the wind, Lake Huron, Georgian Bay, and you get that sideways snow right over the 400. Seen that many times. I'm sure you have as well. -20 for North Bay, -6 for Toronto. Good morning to you in Hamilton tonight. You'll be dropping down to about -6, and Windsor -4. All right, -16 for Marathon. As I mentioned, the coldest air will stay up through the extreme north. So Geraldton, Kapuskasing, about -24, clear conditions. Check out the prairies, though. This is very mild for them. -2 with some foggy conditions for Regina, -1. By the way, there is a warm front that is draped right through Saskatchewan right now, and we could see the potential for a little bit of freezing rain through that area. -9 for you in La Ronge. There's the freezing rain warning to accompany that. So Kindersley, Coronation, Vermilion, Leader, East End, and Val Marie, Saskatchewan, you could see some changing conditions. Appreciate that. And looks like a nice snowy backdrop in your backyard. 2 to 5 centimeters will whiten things up again, Leader. And then same for you in Edmonton, maybe just a couple centimeters. The heavier stuff, which is only about 5 to 10, will be up through Slave Lake. So here's our overall jet position here of our jet stream, and then also our weather highlights. So some of our systems. Watching this one This will move through Tuesday afternoon into evening. Windsor, you could see a little bit of dusting of snow, not a whole lot. Mild conditions prevail throughout the prairies, and then watching this system that'll bring some rainy conditions to the central and north coast. But that's about it. Pretty quiet. Enjoy it while it's here. 5,000 people without power throughout the area, and pretty calm today. A little bit of moisture on the west coast. Let's get you in front of the weather here. We have a bit of moisture we're watching in the States. That's going to affect southern Ontario by Tuesday afternoon, and then of course the ongoing storm in eastern Canada will hit on all of it beginning now. Let's start you off on the west coast. So we have a storm that is sort of dissipating. The moisture's kind of wrung out of it. We did see some strong winds. I learned that winds coming over the mountains in Victoria will actually subside, kind of like in the rain shadow, just like we have in the lee of the Rocky Mountains. We can actually get a warm up, a little downsloping wind. So that's kind of neat. And that's what happened. You were up around, what, 10 degrees yesterday in Victoria, and those windy conditions. Now, the next storm, Tuesday morning, that'll stay up through the central and the north coast. And there's the residual moisture along this boundary through the prairies. We are talking about the potential for some freezing rain. Let's get you into that story. So above seasonal and breezy, but that cold front and that warm front moves through central Saskatchewan, and we could see changing conditions. As you can see, they're pretty moisture starved. There's not a lot in terms of precipitation to work with, but if you do get some precip, you could see some slick conditions. On Sunday, courtesy of Roger Hamilton, never fun to drive in sideways snow. It can be blinding and get your, throw your equilibrium right off. All right, so in Ontario, not a lot to talk about. That moisture that you saw through Sudbury is now well off to the east. There is a trough. We've seen some scattered flurries this morning through eastern Ontario. Next little clipper starts to pick up some moisture. As I mentioned, could affect Windsor by Tuesday morning. It kind of merges with a little bit of energy in the States as well. All right, let's go back to this and show you the next piece of moisture. Yeah, cloud tops. This is our infrared satellite, shows a pretty juicy system on the East Coast. All within this sector of the storm the last few days has been straight rain. Behind the storm, we will be transitioning into snow. Labrador City, Goose Bay, Sept-Îles, you've saw nothing but snow and wind, and hence the many warnings that are in place. But we'll continue to track this storm, plus what's hanging around in the long range, and we'll talk to Dr. Doug Gillum coming up this hour as well. Well, good morning to you. It's Blue Monday, and we've been having a bit of fun with that. I mean, do you really get down on Blue Monday, or do you just make the best of it, right? Blue Monday, also a great New Order tune from 1983. There's Stormy Monday. There's Monday Monday by the Mamas and Papas. There's all kinds of fun you can have on Blue Monday. So just have a great day. How's that? Just make the best of it. Potential for 50 centimeters of snow. Okay, if you're getting 50 centimeters of snow, maybe not the best day for you. Update on the freezing rain. We'll talk about that, and then some of the key stats on this day. I'm meteorologist Jaclyn Whittal. Let's get you in front of the weather. Let's go to the East Coast first. 10 to 20 millimeters of rain still on tap for Halifax, and then down towards southwest in Yarmouth, looking at about 20 to 30 millimeters this time, not centimeters. The 50 centimeters of snow will be up through the extreme north. So Labrador City, Saguenay, we have winter storm warnings, extreme cold warnings well up to the north, but it's active, and this is really the big game in town, and Nathan Coleman has been tracking it. We'll get the latest from him. Here he is. Wow, you can hear the wind just whistling on the east coast there where Nathan is. -5 for you in the Gaspé region, -5 for St. John, partly cloudy, much colder through Quebec. Tremblant, if you're doing a little skiing, bundle up by tomorrow. Northwestern Ontario about -19. In and around areas like Collingwood, to be a little warmer, minus single digits. That's where we find our own Chrissy Van, who's making the best of Blue Monday. There you go. Kids don't know if it's Blue Monday or not, right? It's just a regular old day, and she's at Blue Mountain. She's going to have a ball out there doing some skiing. -10 for downtown Toronto by tomorrow morning. Let's take a look at how this plays out. It'll be really a story for southern Ontario. Bit of snow maybe by overnight into Tuesday. That's about all. We'll have much more on the way. What a roller coaster ride of temperatures, and that means when we have temperatures that are all over the map, we have precipitation that is changing. So same for you folks in the prairies. Good morning to you. We do have a couple boundaries here I want to hit on. This cold front and this warm front here, that's kind of like a stationary boundary in a way. It's almost like the weather doesn't know what it's doing here. So changing conditions, meaning warm air overrunning colder air, potential for freezing rain as you just saw there. We did see some freezing rain between Red Deer and Edmonton over the last 12 hours. That could continue. By the way, Quebec City, you saw freezing rain for 5 hours straight. Yeah, that was, I think it was about 7 p.m. last night until about 12 a.m. this morning, somewhere around there. snowflake falling. You know how you just learned in the science behind the weather, it needs to start as snow and then it'll melt and then it'll freeze on contact. Well, it's going to be falling as straight rain and windy conditions. We have Nate Coleman standing by. We'll get to him in a second. For this afternoon, Quebec City, +1 for Montreal. But Val-d'Or, very different, -17 with some sunny conditions. There's the rain. This is how much you could expect, 10 to 20 for the southern shore of Newfoundland, 20 to 30 for Yarmouth, Halifax 10 to 20. All right, with the latest, who's tracking the storm? It's Nate Cole. Yeah, you sure do. All right, so here's the rain and the snowfall forecast for you. 30 to 50 centimeters for Saguenay, Quebec, all the way up through Labrador City. Where Nate is, it's all about the rain. 20 to 30 millimeters of rain, kind of like All About the Bass. Every time I say all about anything now, I think of that song. All right, Sudbury, it's all about the sideways snow for you. Roger Hamilton, thanks for sending that in. Not fun to drive in conditions like that on any highway when you've got that snow coming in a very strong way from the west. If you've been up the Highway 400, you know what I'm talking about, or the Trans-Canada and the prairies. -21 for you in Geraldton. Thunder Bay, good morning to you. It is -11. So nice to have you along. Glad you can join us. I'm Jaclyn Whittal, and it is a Monday. It's a Blue Monday. Do you subscribe to that, or do you just kind of make the best of it? Yeah, it's in the doldrums of our winter season and lots of snow and potential for more, as you see on our developing stories. Maybe you just make the best of it, get out and enjoy it. Maybe you have some sunshine in your area on this Blue Monday. We'll talk about your forecast. Update on the freezing rain. Yeah, that's through the prairies and through Quebec. And Blue Monday, some of the key stats. We'll hit on that this hour as well. So let's get you into your weather story if you live on the East Coast. 10 to 20 millimeters, not centimeters this time, of rain. 20 to 30 millimeters for Yarmouth. So we have a warm front up here and a cold front back there. This is what we call the warm sector, and that's why we're in straight rain this time, as opposed to Saguenay and Labrador City, Sept-Îles, 30 to 50 plus centimeters of snow. So it's that top side of the area of low pressure where we have a lot more colder air mixing into the storm. So yeah, take the good with the bad, right? And that's going to be the story today. Again, if you're down in parts of Nova Scotia, you're looking at showers around 6 or 8 degrees. So again, that push of warmer air, which is why it's raining. And then our temperatures getting a bit of a bump as well. 1 for you in Montreal. And let's take a look at your temperatures up there as well. -15 for Wawa, partly cloudy, -13 for Marathon, and a -17 this afternoon for Geraldton. Here's the good news. You're at about -2 for Toronto, -1 for you in Hamilton, +1 in Windsor. You're going to really hang on to a lot of that milder air even into the rest of the week. So much of the cold air will be through Quebec and Northern Ontario, but that's where it'll stay. It's not going to dip down too far south until we get into the extreme long range, and the end of January into February looks pretty brutal. We'll talk to Dr. Doug about that. Halifax, there's the rain, mixed precipitation or even freezing rain you can see in parts of Newfoundland here, central part of Newfoundland. Same with the Gaspé region. And then as we get into tonight, Sept-Îles, Goose Bay, still straight snow and some messy conditions again underneath that warm sector. So sneak peek at the pattern. This week, chilly air, but as I mentioned, it doesn't really dig down through southern Ontario. Very mild right through much of the states. Westerly flow, the Pacific moisture moving onshore, but also the Pacific air. So all that means is that it takes a lot longer for water to heat and cool than it does land. So the Pacific Ocean is always relatively, this time of year, milder. So if we get air from the Pacific Ocean flooding in over the continent, bonus in January. So mild conditions for early next week, but the frigid air, will that? You know what it is? It's the change in our temperatures, I think, that are making these roads really nasty, especially stateside, because we're right around that 0-degree mark. Same for the East Coast. We're looking at a lot of warm air mixing into this system. Anywhere north of the warm front, we're looking at straight snow, but down here it's tricky. It's a tricky forecast. Same deal for here in the prairies. We have through central Alberta and southwestern Saskatchewan, we have a couple different types of air masses. So warm air overrunning cold air. You just learned in the science behind the weather. That's how we can get freezing rain. All right, 7 degrees for you in Moncton. No chance of freezing rain there because it's just simply too warm. Coleman's been tracking the storm for us. We'll get an update from him in a second. But 2 for Moncton. We do have some rain showers there. 2 for the Gaspé region. And again, those changing conditions. All the cold air, for now, locked up to the extreme north. -22s for Val-d'Or and La Grande. All right, Nate, he'll give you the latest rate. Very true. Yeah, not a bad idea to have that full rain suit on. You know, we talk a lot about the sideways rain. We'll show you the sideways snow in just a second. 20 to 30 millimeters of rain for Yarmouth, 10 to 20 for you in Halifax. And here's the snow, 30 to 50 centimeters up through Saguenay and Sept-Îles, Labrador City. They're going to really get nailed. All the snow is mainly in the east coast, up through the Nickel Belt where that was taken. That's all pushed off to the east. Temperatures in the minus teens. It's going to get colder, but it'll stay up through the extreme north. So temperatures like these for Toronto and southern Ontario most of the week, -4s, -8, somewhere around there, but not the minus teens. All right, let's take you to some of our must-see videos once again. This is Jaclyn Whittal and Cheryl Pliffin with you on this Monday afternoon morning. The reason I said, Cheryl, it's winter because it's hard sometimes for many on this day of the year, this long Monday through the winter season. You know, you're buried in snow. How do you cope?
Well,
Above you.
I'm trying to look at it being the glass half full.
There
you know
you
what
go.
I mean? Okay.
There you go. I bet people out east are looking at the glass half full as well after the storm that they did, because they warmed up. They had rainfall instead of snowfall. But good for you. You're keeping a positive.
I'm trying
spin.
to.
I kind of think
that's
it's a
how
state of mind,
I
too.
combat it.
There you
That's
go.
really, okay.
Atta girl.
All right. Let's take a look at our look ahead for select cities. But we're not into the deep freeze. We're not into massive Arctic air by the end of the week.
That's right. Now, the long range, that might be different by the first week of February. But for now, yeah, minus single digits. That's a lot better. If we look at our snowfall graphic, we have lots more snow where that came from. 15 to 30 centimeters still on the way. Earlier, we had, 50 centimeters. So a lot of this has fallen already.
Yeah, now down into the eastern townships of Quebec, watch for some snow there. But yeah, Saguenay River region and north is really going to be seeing the bulk of the snowfall. And then Atlantic Canada, yeah, it's going to be getting colder, but at least it's rain really.
That's right. I learned something earlier from you, that the townships, what do they call them in Quebec?
Well, a part of it is called S3.
S3. See, I learned that. I learned a lot from this woman. All right, this evening temperatures, it's going to be chilly up through the extreme north in Ontario and Quebec, but that's it. As Cheryl had mentioned, everywhere else pretty.
Especially, not so much in Saskatchewan, but Alberta, winds from the west, say 25 gusting to 40 kilometers per hour. But that is also helping with that downslope wind to keep those temperatures up.
That's right. And if you like those temperatures, which I know you do, get used to it, because the rest of the long range forecast, we're going to have a lot of that flow over the mountains. Wait till you see the temperatures this week as we get into this weekend. Like toward the end of the week, we're going to have Dr. Doug join me later. It's impressive.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward, frankly, to the end of the month with all that cold air that you guys are going to be talking about. But that's okay.
That's not good.
Snowfall. Slave Lake, 5 to 10 centimeters of snow. Into southern Saskatchewan, less than 2 centimeters overall. Around Leader and say around Lloydminster could see a slightly higher total. But the BC coast, for the most part, we're dry now. Victoria, though, was one of the hottest spots in the nation yesterday.
It was. They had a little bit of downsloping winds themselves, just like we get in the prairies. And in fact, Tyler Hamilton, one of our meteorologists, wrote a great article on the website that you can learn a little bit about the local topography and how that affects the winds there and how they got their warm up. We'll be right back.